You know, some of some of his associates, I still want to strangle them. But you know, there's a lot of what ifs.
Walk us through those final moments.
We stopped at the light. When we stopped at the light, I see some chicks on the curb. Before you know it, a car just rolled up, start popping in the car.
I never saw Biggie smile until after he died. And the Hypnotize video came out. Hypnotize. I was like, oh, shit.
You likely know about Diddy's 48 Hours with Young Bieber. But what if you are told that there was also a time that in just 48 hours, Diddy flipped Biggie's entire world upside down? We're talking career moves, personal revelations, and deals that changed the entire rap game forever.
Big used to always clown him. You understand? You know, but Big needed him just as much as he needed Big.
But here's the thing, those 48 hours weren't just about success, they were messy, complicated, and full of choices Biggie never saw coming.
Some of some of his associates, I still want to strangle them.
Some say this was the moment he became the king of New York, while others whisper it was the beginning of the end. What really went down between Biggie and Diddy during that wild game-changing weekend? And was Biggie's fate sealed right there in those 2 days? Buckle up, because when hip-hop royalty makes moves this big, nothing stays clean. Life After Death hit #1 on the Billboard 200 on April 12, 1997, skyrocketing from number 176 in just a week, the biggest jump in chart history. The crazy rise came after the album's creator, Notorious B.I.G., tragically passed away on March 9, 1997, only 2 weeks before the album's release. Even with his untimely death, Life After Death cemented Biggie's legacy, becoming the third best-selling rap album ever with over 100 million copies sold. Born Christopher George Latore Wallace. At St. Mary's Hospital in Brooklyn, Biggie was already a rap icon before Life After Death. His debut album, Ready to Die 1994, flipped the rap scene upside down, bringing the spotlight back to the East Coast. That album played a major role in East Coast's rap reign until the late 90s, when other regions started to rise and shake things up in the hip-hop world.
His debut album, Ready to Die, was an immediate platinum hit, selling more than 1 million copies. The CD thrust Biggie into the stratosphere of rap music.
Biggie's came just 6 months after rival Tupac Shakur was in Las Vegas, throwing the late rapper, his label Bad Boy Records, its founder Sean Combs, and the whole East Coast-West Coast beef into the pop culture spotlight. This heartbreaking event changed gangsta rap from a niche scene into a mainstream phenomenon that resonated with everyone, including suburban teens who were vibing to CDs and blasting songs on Top 40 radio. In the summer of 1997, a lot of teenagers jamming to hits like Hypnotize and Mo Money Mo Problems from Life After Death probably had no clue about the circumstances surrounding Biggie's death, or even that he was gone. They were just caught up in the catchy tunes and infectious beats. After Biggie's passing, Puff Daddy and the Family dropped No Way Out, which featured the touching Police-sampled track I'll Be Missing You with Biggie's widow, Faith Evans. This album blew up, becoming one of the best-selling hip-hop albums ever. It even made history as the first rap single to debut at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, paying a heartfelt tribute to Biggie while keeping his legacy alive. The themes and lyrics that defined Biggie's music focused on the harsh realities of dealing, violence, wealth, and the ever-present shadow of mortality, turned out to be eerily prophetic. Even before the heavy vibes of Life After Death, it felt like Biggie was already wrestling with his own mortality. This was especially clear in the final track of his debut album, Ready to Die, which ends with a gunshot symbolizing a sort of artistic self-destruction. Despite his incredible talent and the tragic circumstances of his such a young age, just as he was on the verge of superstardom, the case remains unsolved. Biggie was shot after a party at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles, located at the intersection of Wilshire Boulevard and Fairfax Avenue, and no one has ever been charged in connection with his death. The untimely deaths of Tupac Shakur and Christopher Wallace are back in the spotlight, especially after the recent arrest of Dwayne Keith Davis, aka Keefy D. He's alleged to have had a role in Tupac's death, which happened an astonishing 27 years ago when Tupac was shot leaving a boxing match on the busy Las Vegas Strip. Body camera footage from Davis's arrest shows him referring to the case as the most significant one in Las Vegas history. Rapper Fat Joe even voiced his concerns to CNN, saying, quote, "We lost 2 giants senselessly. That's what bothers me when it comes to Biggie and Pac. We lost 2 giants over nothing." Shakur's tragic death sent shockwaves far beyond Nevada, casting a dark shadow over Wallace's eventual fate. The big question that still hangs in the air is whether and when anyone will ever be arrested for Wallace's loss.
27 years. 27 years. For 27 years, the family of Tupac Shakur has been waiting for justice.
The homicides of the influential rappers Tupac and Christopher, who initially started as friends and later evolved into rivals, have always been culturally intertwined. This connection stems from the shared time period and the complex circumstances surrounding their lives and deaths. It was almost like the death of Tupac was the first movie and then Biggie was the sequel. P. Frank Williams, who produced the 2017 television special Who Shot Biggie and Tupac, told CNN, "The two biggest deaths in the history of hip-hop. Both Tupac and Christopher came from humble beginnings, growing up in tough neighborhoods and raised by single mothers they adored. These strong maternal figures had a huge impact on their lives and were often honored in the music that launched them to fame. Despite facing the law early on, both artists managed to rise above their challenging past and become artistic superstars. In their craft, they seemed unstoppable, leaving a lasting legacy in the hip-hop world and popular culture."
Okay, all right. Let me see how I'm gonna hit you with. You wanna set it off? Yeah, I'm scared to do some freestyle. I'm scared to do some freestyle.
The duo got caught up in the infamous East Coast versus West Coast rap feud in the 90s. This rivalry kicked off when Tupac Shakur, repping the West Coast, became convinced that Christopher from Brooklyn had a hand in the 1994 shooting that left him with 5 bullet wounds in a Manhattan recording studio. Even though Wallace always denied any involvement and was never formally charged, the tension just kept building. Tragically, both artists ended up victims of fatal drive-by shootings while out with friends during nights of celebration, marking a dark chapter in the hip-hop history.
Tupac article had me pissed off, you know what I'm saying? Because first of all, he dissed my man, said my man turned his back on him, and I know for a fact that didn't happen.
A thread connecting the investigations into the deaths of Tupac and Christopher comes from the work of Greg Kading, a now retired detective from the Los Angeles Police Department. In 2009, Kading interviewed Dwayne Keith Davis as a person of interest in the Wallace case. Davis had been at a party at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles just before Wallace was tragically shot. Recently, in a transcript from a Clark County grand jury proceeding held last month, retired Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Detective Clifford Mogg revealed that investigators had considered a theory linking Tupac's murder to Christopher Wallace's death. While Mogg didn't go into detail about the theory, he did testify that Dwayne Keith Davis was not seen as being involved in these tragic events.
He leaned over on the window, you rolled down the window, popped. Who was it? They would drove on my side, I was popped. You know what I'm saying? But they was on the other side. Right.
Reports have suggested a possible connection between Diddy and Tupac's especially after the reopening of Biggie's case in 2006 at the request of his mother, Valletta Wallace. This renewed investigation brought attention back to the case, and LAPD detective Greg Kading discovered new information that hinted at a link between Diddy and the tragic Tupac. A significant development occurred when Valletta Wallace filed a lawsuit against the LAPD for around $500 million in damages. She pointed to the widely circulated conspiracy theory that claimed the police had hidden the truth about her son's death. This legal action was a major factor in reopening the case in 2006, with Kading leading the investigation. As he dug deeper, Kading unexpectedly uncovered a wealth of new information offering fresh insights into the circumstances surrounding Christopher Wallace's tragic death.
And I said, who was really the guy behind it? He says, well, we first thought it was this, then we first thought it was that, and we first thought it was this. And everything's going, then at the end, the conclusion after multiple conversations with him and different people, it came down to Biggie.
Detective Greg Kading made a significant disclosure during his investigation, asserting his belief that the deaths of the notorious B.I.G. and Tupac were intricately connected. While conducting his inquiry into Biggie's tragic demise, he unearthed new evidence that established a connection between both cases. Gene Deal has also highlighted a pattern within the music industry where powerful figures allegedly manipulate or erase surveillance footage to conceal controversial incidents. By powerful figures, it is possible he is pointing towards Diddy because apparently he has also paid a hotel to remove footage of Biggie Smalls being emmed. A syndicated television show host, Roger Mills, filed a lawsuit against rap mogul Sean Puffy Combs, his record label Bad Boy Entertainment, and members of Combs' entourage. The legal action, initiated in Wayne County Circuit Court, is seeking unspecified damages. Mills, a resident of Harper Woods, Michigan, asserts claims of asset, false imprisonment, destruction of property, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and civil conspiracy against Combs. Combs, representatives of Bad Boy Entertainment, and Detroit radio station WCHB-FM. As we have yet to be served with this complaint, we are unable to comment on specific allegations. A Combs spokeswoman said in a statement, quote, "However, any claim that Mr. Combs participated in any wrongdoing is totally false. Furthermore, facilitating the press with this baseless complaint is a blatant attempt to exploit Mr. Combs' celebrity for media attention. Representatives for Bad Boy Entertainment have issued a statement indicating that they have not yet reviewed the lawsuit and therefore are refraining from making any comments at this time. Attempts to obtain a response from WCHB were unsuccessful. There's a prevailing belief among many that Diddy might have been involved in leading to suspicions that he tried to cover up footage related to the crime. Rumors have circulated that Diddy had a near-obsessive desire to obtain a death row chain, treating it like a prized possession or trophy. His efforts to snag these chains seemed almost like a game, with promises of rewards for anyone in his circle who could bring them back to Bad Boy. In gang culture, these chains held significant symbolic weight, and Diddy appeared fully aware of their importance. Sadly, this relentless pursuit is thought to have contributed to the tragic deaths of both Biggie and Tupac, highlighting the dangerous consequences of Diddy's singular focus. Gene Deal has come forward with claims that Diddy was profiting off Biggie and that the late rapper had plans to leave the label just weeks before his untimely death. In a chat on DJ Vlad's vlog, Deal said Biggie was making moves to jump ship to a new deal worth over $60 million. Deal revealed that he once caught a glimpse of Biggie's Bad Boy contract while tasked with watching Diddy's briefcase during a flight. The contract outlined Biggie's earnings at $250,000 per increment, with the publishing income still under Puff's control. When Deal questioned Biggie about it, the rapper reportedly opened up about a new deal and the substantial cash flow it would bring.
Yeah, Big had a contract, and what happened was when me and Puff rode on the plane coming back down there, Puff gave me his briefcase and everything like that.
In his chat with DJ Vlad, Gene Deal also touched on Diddy's apparent obsession with making money above everything else. Deal claimed that Diddy showed a disturbing lack of concern about the possible deaths of Tupac and Biggie months before their tragic incidents. He recounted an episode after the Soul Train Awards when Diddy got upset after overhearing him tell other bodyguards that he had run from death row. According to Deal, Diddy made it clear that his main focus was on business and financial success. After sharing these thoughts, Deal said Diddy ominously hinted at future events by claiming he didn't care about the potential deaths of Biggie or Tupac, nor about whether Suge Knight ended up in jail.
He said, "I'm a businessman. I'm about making money, but something gotta change. I don't give a f if Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or Suge Knight go to jail. Something's gotta change."
If true, these comments offer a controversial glimpse into Diddy's mindset during that time, raising serious questions about his priorities and concerns amid the escalating East Coast-West Coast rivalry.
And I'm like, yo, Chaz, I can't believe, man, I was about to, blase, whoop-de-whoop, and this ran. And he said, yeah, he ran.
In the continuation of the interview, Gene further disclosed that the individual responsible for shooting Biggie had allegedly approached Diddy before the M occurred. Additionally, he challenged the accuracy of the well-known sketch depicting Biggie's alleged K, asserting that it did not faithfully represent the actual perpetrator. According to Gene, the police possessed surveillance photos of a man fitting the description provided by eyewitnesses on the night of the shooting. However, these photos have reportedly never been released to the public.
And I said to Paul, with the blue suit, white shirt, blue bow tie, he said, "Gene, how you know?" I said, "That walked up to Puff car first."
Diddy has opened up about Biggie's death in an interview with Wendy Williams, where he expressed a sense of responsibility for the loss of his 24-year-old friend. He recounted the events of that fateful night, stressing that their original plan was for both of them to hop on a plane and leave the country together. However, Diddy's claims that Biggie wanted to stay in Los Angeles have been challenged by Kirk Burroughs, the former president of Bad Boy Records. Burroughs asserted that it was actually Diddy who insisted on remaining in LA instead of sticking to their plan to head to London. The allegations from Gene and Biggie's mother regarding Diddy's involvement in Biggie's death have certainly sparked interest and debate. Gene's consistent account of the events leading up to Biggie's tragic end has resonated with fans, adding intrigue to the ongoing discussions about the circumstances surrounding the rapper's. While the various theories about Biggie's untimely death haven't been officially verified, many continue to implicate Diddy. One resurfacing theory even suggests that Biggie may have been killed by mistake, with Diddy being the intended target. Leaked FBI documents have shown that Diddy had received multiple and a security guard confronted someone who approached Diddy's car just moments before the shooting. On that night, both Biggie and Diddy were waiting for their rides outside the Peterson Automotive Museum in LA after an after-party. They both got into the front passenger seats of their respective green SUVs. Diddy's security guard, aware of potential threats, instructed their driver to run a red light for safety. Unfortunately, Biggie's driver didn't follow that advice and stopped at the light for about a minute. That's when a dark Chevy Impala pulled up next to Biggie's GMC Suburban and opened fire on the vehicle.
The way I look at it is like taking you giving me your car with a full tank of gas and I bring it back to you on empty.
Despite being rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center for emergency surgery, the Notorious B.I.G. succumbed to his catastrophic injuries and was pronounced dead at 1:15 a.m. Biggie's legacy and music endure, with fans worldwide remembering him as one of the greatest rappers of his time, and his music remains popular to this day. Mace has also recently shared his recollections of the night when the Notorious B.I.G. was caged, disclosing that he found himself targeted by an army of Bloods in the aftermath of the tragedy. During a discussion with Cameron on their sports talk show, It Is What It Is, the Harlem native recounted being effectively confined to his hotel room in LA with approximately 70 gang members stationed in the hallway outside. According to Mace, he believes they were actively seeking additional bad boy artists to target for harm or worse in the aftermath of Biggie's death. Quote, I was in a hotel. I was actually in a hotel with a young lady, he said. I was trapped in the hotel. It was about probably like 70 or so Bloods in the hallway. I couldn't even leave my room. He added, quote, after Big got K, they were probably looking for more bad boy artists and I couldn't even leave the room till Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, had to come get me. Damn, that's effed up, an unusually somber Cameron replied. Sorry. Quote, I was left in LA and from that day I always said I'm out of here, Mace continued. I was left. I came there with people. I ain't leave with those people. You know how it goes. Find your way home. When asked about how he managed to leave the hotel and safely return home, the Harlem World rapper responded, quote, to my recollection, I think we had to go to Vegas or something like that to get back to New York. The tragic incident involving the Notorious B.I.G. occurred on March 9, 1997 in LA. The Brooklyn native, aged 24 at the time, was fatally shot in a drive-by shooting. Leaving a Soul Train Awards after-party in a GMC Suburban, a black car pulled up alongside and opened fire at a red light. Biggie was shot 4 times and rushed to the hospital by his entourage, but was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The circumstances surrounding Biggie's death have remained unsolved over the years, with various conspiracy theories circulating. Greg Kading, the lead detective of a task force named in 2006 to investigate the M, believes that the gunman was Wardell Poochie Foose, a Mob Piru Bloods member and associate of Suge Knight. In the 2000s, the family of the Notorious B.I.G. filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles, alleging that corrupt LAPD officers conspired to K the Ready to Die rapper and engaged in covering up evidence. The lawsuit was eventually dismissed in 2010. In a separate interview, Gene revealed that Diddy lied to Biggie's mother about not knowing him because he knew that Gene would expose him and reveal what happened on the night of Biggie's death. Valletta Wallace has spoken about how she believed Diddy used her son for his personal gains. In her book titled Biggie, Valletta says, quote, I'm glad my son does not have to witness that the very people that he thought he could ride and die with wouldn't think twice about using his mother. I am glad that he's not here to see how they have used his image and his name. I believe Sean loved my son after he was dead. I used to tell Christopher all the time not to trust Sean. Furthermore, Biggie's mother has expressed dissatisfaction with the handling of her son's M investigation over the years, and her concerns are valid. In a Daily Mail interview, Valletta shared the ongoing pain she experiences daily, realizing she will never see her son again, compounded by the fact that his K remains unidentified. Quote, thank you for this. Biggie's music has had a huge impact on my life. One of the first hip-hop artists to rap about depression and pushing through it, and as always, big up, one fan wrote. Quote, so well deserved. Congratulations to Biggie, R.I. Power King. He's so missed and loved. The hip-hop culture will never be the same without him. Miss Wallace has a beautiful spirit, and it's good to see Wayne still there being a friend, another fan added. The details surrounding Biggie's death remain clouded in uncertainty. Despite a thorough investigation and numerous leads, the case stayed unsolved for nearly a decade. Various theories and rumors circulated, from allegations of police corruption to possible involvement of rival gangs. Some even speculated that people within the music industry had a hand in orchestrating Biggie's death.